Hi there, this is Miss Caitlin from Fibo Kids Art Academy and welcome back to another amazing art class. Today we are going to be learning about positive and negative space while doing a Halloween project of cats. So for the supplies, you can check out the description of this video. I'm also going to go over the different supplies right now. So let me go ahead and show you my desk. So here's our project and here are all the different things that you're going to need for today. So of course, project, you're going to be cutting out a lot of things from paper. I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side. So you're going to need one big piece of paper for you to glue down everything and color on today. This will be our final project paper. You're also going to need a pretty big piece of paper. We're going to cut out a stencil of our cat today. And you're going to need a couple of big pieces of black paper. You could do really any color if you like, but black paper is going to really help drive home the positive and negative space lesson so that you remember it. Okay. You're also going to need a pencil eraser. You can use color pencils or markers for this project, and you are going to need glue and scissors. Now, if you don't have glue, you can just use what's available like tape or double-sided tape, whatever the case, just something to help stick the papers down. All right, so let me go ahead and get all of this out of the way and we can start on our project. Now, I want you to be using a pencil and eraser for the parts that we're drawing today, but you're gonna see me using a Sharpie, and this is because I need you to be able to see what I'm making. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set these papers off to the side, and we're gonna draw our cat stencil first. So you can take out one of your white pieces of paper. This can be any piece of paper that you have, it doesn't matter. And you're gonna notice that we're not really doing a final or practice draw. We're just sort of doing a process to complete the project. So hang in there with me and we'll get this done together. All right, so again, use a pencil for this part, but I'm gonna use a Sharpie just so that you can see on a white piece of paper, not your paper you wanna glue down everything onto. I want you to go ahead and just turn it any which way you like. I have mine turned vertical just so that I have enough space on the bottom. Now what I want you to do with your pencil is I want you to draw a circle. You want it to be towards the left side of the paper because we need to make this quite big. We're going to make a really big cat stencil. Now you don't want this circle to take up the whole thing, but next we're going to go ahead and draw in the ears. Now cat's ears, they are like triangles, so it'll be pretty easy for us to draw them on the top of the head. Let's go ahead and draw 2 ears for your cat. Don't worry about adding any facial features like the eyes or the nose or the mouth. We actually don't need that right now, and you'll see why. Next, what I want you to do is I want you to take your pencil, start on the right side of the ear, and you're going to draw a big long line, nice and curved, that touches the bottom of your paper. So a really big curved line. Make sure it touches down the bottom. Okay, next I want you to go underneath the chin and I want you to draw a straight line, but don't connect it to the bottom yet. Then you're going to draw a curved line out and down. This is going to be for a cat's paw that's in the front. Now at any point, just remember you can pause the video if you need a little bit more time to make your line. So if you just need a moment, you can always pause. Okay, next I want us to move over a little bit. We're gonna draw the inside part of the cat. So the cat today is kind of like scratching upwards, like his back is curved. And I want us to make sure that that curve kind of copies the one that we made here. So start on the bottom of your paper, a little bit over from your foot, and you're gonna draw a curved line up, around, and down, but don't touch the bottom of your paper, because then you need to make another paw. So you're just going to draw another curved line out and down. This one you want to touch the bottom of your paper. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and draw a tail for our cat. For the tail, we are going to start from the back here, and you're going to draw a curved line up and around. So again, curved line up and out. Curve around. And you're going to continue that line back towards the body to make the tail. All right, so that is our cat stencil, and we can go ahead and put our pencil down and take out our scissors. So go ahead and take out those scissors, and you are going to cut this cat out. And try your best to follow your lines as best you can. For this part, again, if you need more time, you can always pause. Just be mindful as you go around. Try and get right up next to your pencil line. And you don't need to cut around this line right here because that's our ear. We need those. We don't want to accidentally cut them off. Now, if you do accidentally cut off something, or maybe you cut into something, that's okay. Maybe you can try and stick it back together with either some tape, or you can just remember when we go to draw that, hey, I think I need a little part there that was missing. So no worries. So just try your best. Work around. If something gets awkward for you to cut, you can always try and make that a little easier for yourself by cutting around or cutting off any extra paper. Like right here, I know this part is going to be awkward for me to keep having, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut that paper right off and set that off to the side. You might want to keep the scrap paper for other projects. Who knows? Okay, working around the tail. Next. Just trying my best to keep those lines. You can see right here it's getting a little delicate because it's this very thin tail that we have to cut out. And now we can work our way down. So don't throw this paper away just yet. We actually are going to probably need this paper later to draw out our other cat. So take this paper, if you've cut it off like I have, and just set it off to the side. And then we can go ahead and continue with our cutting. I just have the inside part of my cat to do next. Now again, keep these papers. You never know what project you're going to need scrap paper for. I recommend starting like a box or a pile or maybe a bin of scrap paper, just so you can have it ready. All right, so here is our cat stencil. We're going to be using this to create our different cats for our project. Now, let's go ahead and look at our example again. So how many cats do we need? So we need one cat that's white. It has polka dots on it right now, so don't worry, we'll get to that. And we need one cat that is black. So this is going to be our negative space cat, where the black takes up the negative space, and this is going to be our positive space cat, where the cat is taking up the positive space. So positive space in our pictures is usually what is being taken up by a main subject. So right now it's the cat for both of them, but I want you to remember the black cat is taking up positive space, that's the main subject, and for this picture, the black paper is taking up the negative space. Negative space is usually the background or the space around your main subject. So that's how we'll remember this today. Let's go ahead and set this aside. And you can go ahead and take out your white piece of paper again. Now, if you don't have room on your white piece of paper to draw another cat on here using your stencil, like say maybe your cat stencil is way bigger than your paper, that's okay. Maybe find another white piece of paper to do the stencil on. You also are going to need your black piece of paper, or at least one of them. Now, when you go to draw on black paper, it might be kind of hard to see your graphite pencil, and that's normal, that's okay. I would recommend finding a white color pencil or maybe a white material to help trace your stencil. So let's do the white cat first. So I want you to take your stencil. I'll set this black paper off to the side. So you're going to take your cat stencil, you're going to set it on your paper, and you're going to have to hold it on nice and tight. And with your pencil, I'm going to use a Sharpie so that you can see. I want you first to trace around your stencil, holding it tight on your paper. You're just going to trace around it. Now, for this first cat, it doesn't matter which direction it's facing. I guess my cat is facing left for this one. But you can decide which way you want the first cat to face. So again, just holding down where I'm tracing. This part can be a little tricky sometimes, and it's okay if you accidentally get a little bit of your graphite pencil onto the stencil, this part that we're tracing. That's okay, don't you worry about it. The stencil is just here for us to get the shape of the cats down. Okay. Once you have all those lines traced, you can remove your stencil and then it'll look like we have just the outline of a cat, which is exactly what we want. So I'm going to set this just off to the side here, and we're going to do our next stencil trace on our black piece of paper. Now, whichever way you had your cat traced on your white paper, I want you to flip the stencil over for the black paper. So if your cat was facing left, like this, now you're going to draw your cat like mine, facing the right. If your cat was facing the right on your stencil for the white paper, now you're going to do it the opposite way. So you're drawing your next cat facing the opposite direction. Now this might be kind of hard for you to see if I draw this in Sharpie. So I'm going to go ahead and take out a white pencil so that way I can trace my stencil. So you're going to do the same thing. Hold the stencil down nice and tight and just trace your cat. Now again, you can do this in graphite. It's very possible, but I know sometimes it might be kind of hard to see. So if you feel that, hey, this is a little tricky for me, try and find that white material. You can always pause the video and come back, so that way you can feel comfortable with your artwork and what you're doing. Kind of the beauty of the recording, right? Okay, so I'm going to curve that around, still just being careful. You can see as I'm going, I'm holding down the stencil really tight, so that way it doesn't move. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Work around. We have one more line underneath here. Once I have all that done, I can take it away, and there's my outline. Now we don't really need this stencil anymore, so you can again just set this off to the side, maybe put it in your scrap paper pile. And we're going to go ahead and take some time to cut out both of these. So grab those scissors again and let's cut out our two cats. Now, if you'd like, you can name these cats today. You don't have to. But they're going to be here to help you remember positive and negative space for Halloween. Later in our project, you're going to get to decide what kind of patterns you want to do. So maybe think about what patterns you want to put onto your white cat and in the background for the black cat. I find the tail is the trickiest part to get around because it's so thin, especially like this area right between the cat and the tail, the space. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that extra paper off, just so that it's a little easier for me to cut. And then continue on. Alrighty. So I wonder, have you guys ever seen a black cat before? Probably many of you. Either maybe you have a black cat as a pet, or maybe you've just seen one out and about. Now, unfortunately, some people view them as a sign of bad luck, which is rather, like I said, it's unfortunate because they are really cute. It's very special. So if you see one, don't be alarmed. They're probably just curious about the world around them and nothing to be afraid of. And definitely not bad luck. I've known some black cats in my life, and they've always been really sweet and wonderful. All right, there we go. So the white cat is all cut out. I'm going to go ahead and just cut off any extra little pieces here. Now, because you did the trace in graphite, you probably don't have all these little extra Sharpie lines like I do, but that's okay. For our purposes, this will be just fine. So there's the white cat. Let's go ahead and cut out the black cat. And hang around. And don't feel pressured to try and finish cutting things out at the same time as me. You can go at your own pace. Okay, I'm just going to cut this little part off here. And we'll work our way around. Again, don't throw any of your paper away. And if you are going to throw it away, you should be sure to recycle it. Alternatively, since we are doing a lot of projects recently with paper, you could learn how to make your own. It's actually a lot easier than I previously thought. Watch some people make it. I'm not too sure about what exactly the process entails, but it seems like it's not that hard. If anything, it just takes a little bit of time. Here is that tricky business with the tail again. This part's a little easier for me, you can probably tell. I'm using my left hand to cut because I am left-handed, so when things are in this position for me to cut, so much easier. So cutting out the white cat's tail was a lot more difficult for me. Maybe you're the same way. Maybe you're right-handed and maybe this direction of the cat is a little trickier for you to cut out. Okay, moving right along. I'm gonna cut right here, almost done. Again, as I'm going, you're seeing me cut out different parts of the paper that are maybe just in the way or would make it way easier for me to cut. All right, almost there. I just got this last little paw. There we go. All cut out. Now you can go ahead and erase whatever leftover lines you have that are done in graphite. Again, mine are done in material so that you can see today, but for you, you're not going to have any of these extra lines. So now we have these two cats cut out. We're actually going to go ahead and set them off to the side and prepare our paper that we want to paste them onto. So don't put these with your paper scraps. Maybe put them somewhere where you're going to remember them. I'm going to just set mine right up here. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my new piece of paper and my last black paper. Now what we want to do is we want to divide this paper in half. Now the best way to do this and make sure that both of our cats are going to fit on there is I usually like to plan out by putting, okay, here's a cat here. Their feet are probably going to touch the bottom of the paper, and this little guy's tail is probably going to touch the top of the paper. So this means halfway is right in between the white cat's tail and the black cat's feet. So you can take a pencil. This doesn't have to be a super accurate line. Just take a pencil and draw a horizontal line so that we know that's where it's going to be. Now I want to make sure that shows up for you to see. I'm going to do this in a red color pencil. Okay. So we know right about there, that's where the halfway point is on our paper for our positive and negative space. This means that we're going to take our black piece of paper and we're going to kind of plan and line that up. Now obviously there's going to be some extra paper down here, but don't you worry about it. What I want us to do is I want us to go ahead and grab our glue now. So go ahead and grab your glue or whatever material you're using for sticking things together today. And I want you on the bottom half of this paper, make sure it's turned vertical. I want you to put glue all over this bottom half. Best as you can. You're going to have to do it fast so that it doesn't dry as you're putting more down. And then you're going to take your black paper, line it up with the middle, and then paste it down. Now double check and make sure that you don't have any little white pieces of paper showing through like I just did. You want to make sure it's all nice and even. So just try your best. All right, ooh, that's being a little tricky. I'll just scoot that over. All right, there we go. And just press it down. Okay, next, you're gonna flip your paper over. Do you see this extra paper that's kind of hanging off on the side? We can just take our scissors and carefully cut that extra paper off. So you're going to follow just the line where that paper ends. And there we go. Now, if you have a little bit of a white space right here, don't you worry a thing. You can take a black marker of any kind, or really any black material, and you can either cut off this little piece or you could just fill it in. It's small enough that it won't really matter, but if it really bothers you, that's something that you can do. All right, so we have that all prepared. Next, we're actually going to go ahead and take out our markers or your color pencils. Now we need to do this part first, so that way when we go to glue on our black cat, we'll have something here. We're going to create a design, a pattern at the top. Now you have some choices for color. We are doing this project Halloween themed today, so if you'd like to make it Halloween themed, you can do orange and purple, and even leave some white of the paper for white stripes or white patterns. So I'm going to be making stripes all in my background for my black cat. You can feel free to do polka dots if you'd like as well. So I want you to choose either stripes or polka dots for the background of the positive space cat. Okay? And then you can go ahead and have some fun and create that pattern. I'm going to start with the orange just to plan out my stripes. So I'm going to go from the top of the paper and draw a line down, and a line down, and I am just going to keep doing this to make some stripes, and I might fill some of them in at the end. So again, you can choose to either do stripes like me, or you could do polka dots. If you're doing polka dots, you can just draw circles everywhere in this background. All right, so now I'm going to fill in some of the stripes orange. Not all of them, but some of them. If you'd like, you can follow along with me. I'm going to fill in this stripe with orange. So it's the second stripe here. Now you might have more stripes than I do or less stripes than me, and that's okay. You can have fun just adding in the color for yours. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. I think that's kind of the beauty of art, is that everyone's art will sometimes turn out a little bit different, and that's okay. But to make it easier on yourself, if you are doing stripes, make sure to do your long strokes. That will be super helpful for you when you go to fill them in. They'll also make you go so much faster. Okay. I fill in the next stripe. You can see I'm alternating colors. I'm going orange, white, orange, white. And this one will be orange. Double check that you have no white spaces in the stripes that you did decide to fill in. You want these to be nice and solid. All right, so there are my orange stripes. Now I'm going to do a couple of purple ones. Now you could leave it like this if you'd like, but I think the purple makes it even more fun. So I'm going to do purple on this stripe right here. So it's on the edge of my paper and right next to my orange, so I'm going to outline next to the orange color first before I start filling things in, and also outline the side of my paper. So that way I stay really neat and I don't have to worry about making that side neat at the end or while I'm trying to focus on just coloring it in. Staying organized and staying neat is very important. I'm going to skip this stripe and leave it white, and I'm going to do purple in this stripe. Again, outlining right next to the orange, so that way I don't accidentally fill anything in. Skip this one. I'm going to do purple in the next stripe. And then fill that in. Now this probably means that my last stripe right here is going to have to be white, and that's okay. So there's my pattern for my background of the black cat. So for now, we can go ahead and just set our markers off to the side, and we're actually going to take this time to glue down our different cats. So starting with the black cat, since we just spent a great deal of time preparing his little background for him, we're going to glue him down. So go ahead and grab your glue or your tape, whatever it is that you're using today, and let's really get that glue on there. Our hands might get a little messy today, and that's all right. Don't forget to get the tail at the top here. Definitely want that to stay down. Take your cat, flip it over, and then press it down into the paper. All right, so there's the black cat. Next we have the white cat. So now we're going to take our glue again, flip our cat over, and really get that glue onto the back of our white cat. Ooh, might be running out of glue. We'll spread out what little I have left then. All right. And know it's not totally showing on the camera, but there is a lot of glue down on that cat. I'm going to go ahead and hold it, line it up, make sure that it's not going over my black cat. I'm just going to press that down. Okay, so now everything is prepared for us to add in some stuff for our cats. Now, since we have all of our different materials out, let's go ahead and get our pencils and our markers at the ready. So I'll put my pencils over here, and I'll put my markers over here. All right, so check out the last little bit that we have. So we are going to add in a pattern for our white cat, that is the negative space cat. We're also going to add in details for our black cat. Now that we can do with a white color pencil. We're also going to add in a face for them at the very end. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and add in those details first. You can do this part for the white cat in a black marker or a Sharpie. I'm going to use a Sharpie just because it's what I have. And what I want you to do with this black material is I want you to start on the side where we had our ear before. You can make a little line here if you'd like. And you're just going to draw a backward C, almost like we're bringing back the head of the cat. It's going to be very round. From here, you can go ahead and draw in two eyes. You can draw the eyes however you like today. You can make them cute, you can make them serious. You're also going to draw in a nose and a mouth. For the nose, you're just going to do an upside down triangle. For the mouth, you can do a W shape. You can also add some lines for whiskers. For the details on the black cat's face, you're going to need your white material. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to make the side of the face of the cat. So this is going to be a big curved line, a big backward C. You might have to go over this line a couple times just so that the white material shows up. Then you can also draw the eyes how you like. I'm going to do 2 circles for this one. I'm thinking maybe I want this cat to be a little angry. Who knows? So I'm going to draw 2 diagonal lines right above its eyes. And then you're going to draw your nose and your mouth. For the nose, you're going to do an upside down triangle. And for the mouth, you can draw a W, or you can just draw a line down and leave it like that. From here, you can also add whiskers. Okay, so now we have the faces of our cats. Let's go ahead and add in the details on our black cat's body, because those are going to be pretty fast. So again, take out your white material. You can draw the inside parts of this black cat's ear. So you're just going to draw 2 mountains on the inside. And then for his fur, we don't want to fill it in or do anything detailed or extravagant. We just want it to be kind of simple so it looks like a cat. So you can take your white material and you can just draw some lines or some ovals on the cat's back to show the fur. Usually when cats are in this position with their body, they're kind of showing fear, or they're telling you, hey, watch out, I'm a cat. So that's what you can do with the material there. Last but not least, we have our cat on the bottom. For this one, you can do whatever kind of pattern or design you like. We can use orange and purple to add the pattern in. So for this one, I'm going to do polka dots just like we did on our example. So I'm going to have my orange and my purple, and I'm going to do a bunch of different size polka dots. So for that, I'm just going to be drawing circles all over the cat, and then I will fill them in one by one. So for this part, if you're doing polka dots, you might have a lot of work to do just with filling in all the teeny tiny little circles that you make. Don't worry, again, it's all you, just take your time. Now I'm only going to add probably this many onto the cat. I might add a couple purple ones as well, but you can feel free to take as much time as you need. You don't have to finish at the same time as me. You can exercise your creativity if that is something that is important to you to take lots of time on. Definitely filling in the polka dots is pretty fast because you just have to do a couple of big strokes on the inside with your marker, or if you wanted to do this part in pencil, you could, and then you're done. All right, so filling in these ones down here. Now I have the tail of the orange polka dots. So right now this cat with orange polka dots looks pretty good, but again, I'm gonna add some purple just to make it even better. Since I'm done with the orange, I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in my kit here with my markers. And now I'll add a couple purple polka dots. On the face, I'm usually making them a little bit smaller, just because I don't want to take away from all the fun detail that we did for the facial features. So again, just continuing, filling around. You can really spread out the polka dots. You can have them maybe clustered or grouped together in some places. Or again, you can just have a lot of space in between them. So here are the purple ones on the leg. I'll do a couple purple ones, I think, on the tail as well. They'll probably be a lot smaller. All right. So that's all the polka dots I'm going to do. And once you have completed your pattern on the white cat, then you are also done. So remember, today we learned a little bit about positive and negative space. Positive space is the space on your picture that the main subject is taking up. The negative space is the space that's in the background. It's the space around the subject, or the positive space. So you can remember that by our black cat is the positive space, our white cat was the negative space. I hope you had a lot of fun today. Don't forget to clean off your desk and also clean off your hands, and we will see you again very soon. Bye!